Skip the Drip Bayless, one of the most polarizing personalities in sports television, has often been criticized for his intense style of commentating and critiquing athletes in sports that he never played on the highest level. But what if I told you how Mr. Skip Bayless has been an even worse teammate? Skip, tell me when it's my turn. Alright, y'all, so John Edward Bayless II, aka Skip Bayless, is a well-known columnist, commentator, and sports personality. Originally, he hit the TV scene back in, I think, 1989, joining Dick Schaap as a panelist on ESPN's The Sports Reporters. From there, as most of you know, Skip Bayless stayed on ESPN until he was hired full-time in 2004 to start the daily debate show Cold Pizza, which later turned into First Take. After 9 years later, Skip left ESPN in 2016 to join Fox Sports and debate his new show Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe. Now, one thing that I want you guys to remember in this Mitchell report is that Skip Bayless partially left ESPN because he wanted more power. Now, one thing I've always personally respected about Skip is his ability to retain and deliver stats and sports moments on the fly. Like, the information that this man has crunched in his head really is beyond measure. But after doing some research of my own, my respect level has dropped lower than that point per game average he had in high school. It's one thing to be highly critical as an analyst about athletes, but what about your peers, your coworkers, your team, the people you go to war with? In no particular order, we got to take a brief look at Skip Bayless and how he has treated some of his partners throughout his career on air. It's quite disturbing, to keep it real. Let's kick things off with Chris Broussard. Now, we all know the hate that Skip Bayless had for LeBron James. Let's take a quick look how Skip violates Broussard's credibility as a journalist on air, even though LeBron James was the source for Broussard's intel in the debate.
James, I'm this, I'm that. King James just a nickname that matched his last name.
Heck no.
He heard it from LeBron. I heard it from his mouth.
Come on. Can I ask you a question? I've been
You told me once on this show.
You're going to take it to the bank when LeBron James.
Hold on. You told me once on this show.
I'm not going to accept that.
Do not get in your heart. Do not tell you what's in your heart. How are you sitting here from thousands of miles away telling what's in LeBron James' heart?
Because you're way too close to have any objectivity.
But wait a second. I don't have objectivity.
You sold your journalistic soul to get close to LeBron so you can have a pipeline.
I
didn't do that. I have objectivity about it.
You do
I can sit back. Yeah, I do.
First of all, that's a strong claim.
That's what I think. If you're going to question my credibility, that's what you did.
I'm saying you're sitting here. You told me don't say what's in your heart. And you're sitting here talking. Have you ever even had a conversation with LeBron?
How do you know what's in his heart?
Well, he told him.
He
had a
told
conversation
me.
with LeBron.
Are you going to buy that?
Well,
I know what he did. It was outrageous.
Now, I'm not new to the game. I understand debates can get intense. Trust me, I know. But just watch how he violates and treats his right-hand man, Shannon Sharpe.
Like Chicago, it's the Chicago nightmare all over again. Zeke waves out. Take me out, coach.
Oh, we ain't gonna talk about this.
Take me out. It's my turn. You told me it was my turn.
You can talk all that you want to, yell and scream. You lost.
It is my turn.
You lost the game.
It's my turn.
Take as long as you want.
Tell me this energy right here from this man internally isn't power driven.
Most explosive.
Hey, I'm not even beginning to finish here. You gotta let me go. I'll let you talk first. What are you talking about?
It's not about talking first. You can't take 15 minutes. Damn.
Kevin Durant, James Harden is the greatest perimeter scorer this league has ever seen.
And of course, we have Curry Champion, former host moderator for First Take. Now, being a fan of the show, I've noticed multiple occasions where it seemed like Skip Bayless didn't want Curry to talk as much or even respected her opinion when she spoke. I can't remember if it was a LeBron James versus MJ debate or if it was a Brett Favre debate, but I remember one time Curry had gave her an opinion on something and Skip told her live right on air not only was she wrong, but she was out of line. I was like, what the? Like, that's crazy. But what I uncovered after hearing Jamel Hill and Curry Champion herself was mind-blowing.
I just told her from the jump because I had heard the way they talked about this particular job and what was said behind closed doors was that, look, they are intent on having somebody who's seen and not heard. So you need to be careful about that.
So just imagine, I had been there for a month, and I am already overwhelmed and underpromised and really having a hard time. I moved there from LA to Bristol, Connecticut. I'm by myself. I'm working with the two hardest mofos in the building. She did it all out of, honestly, love and to protect me. And whenever we found ourselves in moments, i.e. me found myself in a moment where I was just completely feeling disrespected, she would, jump online and fire up a couple of tweets or have my back in whatever way. So much so to the point that, one of those guys sitting on the desk used to email her and tell her she wasn't right. Got mad at her. Was like, why are you taking up the
and hasn't spoken to me since.
Wow. Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy. Emailing Jamel Hill about supporting Curry Champion. I mean, that's where you got to get off the bus at if you had any level of respect for this guy, if he's the one that did that. Like, how snakish is that? And don't get it twisted, people, because this is the Mitchell Report. I'm going to find it all. Even his brother from another mother, Stephen A. Smith, has caught the wrath. To me, the biggest reason Skip Bayless left ESPN was Stephen A. Smith. He couldn't really control nor tame that momentum that Stephen A. was getting. He actually took credit for kind of making Stephen A. Smith who he was when they came to television, or at least First Take.
I am going to miss my brother, Stephen A. Smith. I am going to always root for him, and I will always be there for him, as I was a few years back when ESPN let him go. But as he knows, I have always belonged right here on Fox. Fox isn't owned and operated by Walt Disney. And here on Fox Sports 1, I'm going to be a little more free to give all of me.
You can't mention Tim Tebow or Tom Brady in any type of bad light to Skip Bayless, no matter who you are, because the gloves is going to come off. Listen to what he told his man Stephen A. Smith, the one who really breathed life into the show, based off of a debate that they had with Tim Tebow, I believe.
Don't give it to me.
Well, let me tell you why.
If you don't want to talk about it, let's go to the next topic.
Well, excuse me, if we want to talk about it,
I'm sick of you trying to shame me over this.
Last time I checked, a dialogue is between two people. I let you go on and on. That's why I did that.
I don't do
because
it.
you keep going on and on.
I'm not. You asked me a question. Let me explain. It's time for you to
you're not getting to the point.
Well, you were
You're not
wrong.
getting to the point.
I wasn't wrong.
Who said you were wrong?
Just like some of you, I had to step back and peep game like, yo, it's kind of ironic that all these people that we're talking about are black over the years. Is there some other type of underlying overtone, going on outside of just this position of power that I was talking about? But then the biggest story hit me. Woody Paige, a beat writer and reporter, who was originally Skip Bayless' co-host, the first co-host on Cold Pizza, he had went on an interview to talk about a situation how Skip Bayless had stabbed him in his back live on air, and they had a fist fight live on air. Lord knows I've been looking on YouTube for the last 12 hours trying to find the actual footage. I would explain the story to y'all, but I'm going to let Woody Paige explain this and give y'all the play-by-play for himself. Check it out.
It was interesting because he genuinely would, I don't take myself or sports that seriously. He genuinely believes in what he says. But we had a conference call, as we did every morning at 3:30. So we did set the objectives for the day, because it was we would meet shortly after most of the games had finished playing, and obviously. And one morning, Jay Crawford, who was one of the hosts of the show, said, "Okay, guys, we have this funny question to end the program. Golf Magazine says that golfers, and you play golf.
Yep, absolutely.
Golfers would give up sex for an entire year if they could improve their handicap by 4 strokes. What about you, Woody?" And I said, "There are a lot of years I've given up sex and I didn't improve my." And I said, "Sure I would. Yes, in a minute. I would give up sex for a full year if I could go from, I was about
till this day. You stand by that till this day? You would still take off a year of sex for 4 strokes on your handicap?
Oh, absolutely. Now,
no doubt about it.
At the time, I was about a 12 or 13.
Okay.
Now I'm about a 16 or 17. So, yeah, sure. Would you? I'm asking you.
At this juncture in my life, I don't think so. Maybe when I get to my 50s or something, and I've had enough sex to kind of be tired of it, then that I would do it. But I don't think right now.
So anyway, that was my answer. And there were about 10 people in the room, producers, interns, directors. And they said to Skip, would you give up sex for, I don't know that I've ever told this story. Would you give up sex for a year to improve your golf game? And he said, I have a great golf game. He said, I've had more sex than anybody in this room combined. There's 10 people in the room. You've had more sex than everybody combined. And there wasn't any laughter or anything. He wasn't being funny. He was being serious. And the producer of the show at the time said, that's not the answer we want you to give on the air. Give something else. So we go on the air. We're live. That show was live in the morning for 2 hours. It was like the Today Show, a sports version of the Today Show. And so we're toward the end of the show, and they said, okay, what do you got a funny story here? Golf Magazine. Would you give up sex for a year? And I told him the same story. I said, of course I would. Yes. In fact, I'll give up sex for 2 years if I could improve it by 6 strokes in handicap. And so Jay turned to Skip and said, would you give up sex for a year if you could improve your golf game? And he said, I've had more sex than Woody's ever even thought about. I got up. We were at a sort of a.
This is on live TV, right, Woody?
Yeah. So I got up and I went over and I started choking him. That's not a good thing for you, but I grabbed him by the throat, and honestly, he worked out every day. He was in a lot better shape than me. I did a lot of drinking in New York and hanging out in bars. That argument got into a fight.
This is crazy to me when you look at the overall sample size. In doing my report, I find that Skip Bayless isn't as great as advertised overall. When you look at it for what it really is, man, this guy has always needed a cosign or some type of help to pull off any type of project he had going on. Every show, every network, he needed the help from one of us. Do y'all think Skip Bayless really could do an hour or 3-hour show by himself? He needed Stephen A. Smith to really, turn that show up when it came to the ratings. He needed Shannon Sharp, coming into Fox. Like, it's just wild how he's just been working with people. But the Woody Paige thing, it ain't even about race. And that was just out of pocket. I mean, that was just crazy how he tried to violate him. But, I don't know. I've just kind of been at a loss for words when I did my research on this thing, man, because I'm like, damn, I knew Skip was out of pocket when it come to, some of his opinions. But this is crazy. This is the Mitchell Report, and now it's all up to you guys to make the call. Does Skip Bayless need to go? Has he been playing fair with his peers? Am I overreacting? What story kind of stood out to you guys the most? And if you have one that I didn't mention, please drop your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more of my sports talk content. Hope you guys stay safe. I'll see you guys next time on the Mitchell Report. I'm Seven Mitchell. Take care.